Hey everyone, good morning or good afternoon, depends on where you're at. This is Steve Vincent Handler, VIPIDO.com. I run a real estate business with my wife, and we have two assisted living facilities, and we run a property management company, so we're pretty busy. And then I like to do mentoring along the way to give people hope and some information, maybe help them out where they're lacking to help them achieve their goals and their dreams. So part of the videos I put together are all about me paying it forward to give those a chance to close that gap on between what they want, what they don't have. So today, with the end of the year coming up, I wanted to kind of clarify a few issues that I run into quite a bit. One of them is this thing called the living wage. I'm not against the living wage, but I have a problem with it in a way. The context is, so if you're starting out in the workplace and you don't have a lot of skill sets, the employer's job is to not make sure you can live in whatever house, apartment, duplex. It's not the employer's job to make sure you live in wherever you want to live. That's entirely up to you. So what you have to realize is that you have to begin somewhere with what you have and then invest in yourself to create more value so that you can make more money. And that's kind of the whole thing is talk about other gurus out there, videos or expertise that talk about investing in yourself, and that's what they mean. So when you are 18 to say 22, 23, work starting out, and you say, I can't work for anything less than 19 an hour because I have dot, 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 dot. That just makes you look bad, and it doesn't work. And no one's going to hire you because now they know what you're going to do. It's pretty obvious that you're self-absorbed in your own stuff and you don't really care about the job, you just care about the hourly rate. And when you do that, what happens is when you get on the job, you're not focused on the work, you're just focused on your stuff and just paying your bills, and you're not really there to do a job, you're just there clutching a check. Happens all the time. As we get older and we haven't invested in ourselves and life gets expensive, and it does every single year, and you haven't done the right thing, the problem is that your living wage is not keeping up with the cost of living, and so you end up getting further and further behind because you've never invested in yourself. Well, even if you do, it's still harder, but you can still do it. So if you're in a position where you can invest in yourself, you do that. The other part of it is working hard, and your employer, if they are doing the right thing, they should be taking care of you. So let's say you're beginning out and you're working hard, doing your thing, producing whatever it is that you have to do. The employer should give you take care of you financially some way, some form. If they're not, then you have a talk with your supervisor and you kind of get an outlook. Hey, where am I going? Where am I headed? How do you see me? Blah, blah, blah. I've done this a few times, and the results weren't always the best, but I did it and I felt better about it, but I made my intentions known, and that's the biggest part. If you feel after a while your intentions aren't being met, then that's when you have to make a change. Do I stay here in hopes, or do I find another place to work and maybe they'll take care of me? Because it's a two-way street. It's not just you giving out, it's also the employer taking care of you. You can go the route I did, which just started our business about 10 years ago, I think it was. We started a Plan B, was in the military, and as when I retired, then it was just full-blown managing and got a staff, all that stuff. But making our dreams come true. So one of the things that we did early on, and this is what you can do at any age, but what we did early on was we created a vision board or a map, if you will. In the center of the map was the biggest goal that we wanted to go after. This is what we felt like. So to begin with, we closed our eyes, we sat back, we took a deep breath, we relaxed, and we said, what do we want? What's the quality of life that we want? And we said, if no barriers were on the table, this is what I want to do. And it turns out that we wanted a luxury life. And you can define that however you want, but that's what we defined it as. Then we started doing is we put things around it. What do we need to do in order to make that happen? And so kind of went there. So we did this unconditionally. We wanted to make it a genuine process because we didn't want things obstructing us. We didn't want barriers. We didn't want concerns or holding us back. We just felt like in an unconditional world where there were no barriers, what would it take to make this happen? Then once we drew this map out, we thought to ourselves, can we do this? Can we actually pull this off? The answer was yes. And since yes is the answer, we're going to have to go through some pain. And we did. We have gone through a lot of pain. And you're going to go through the same pain. The reason why you go through pain is because you lack some stuff and you have to learn it. So at the end of this time of the year, what I do is I sit back and I flush out, I take care of the year, at the end of the year, take care of what we have, taxes and all that crap, and then I start over. And I start over by evaluating where we're at based on the goals I have set for us, the big goal, and what else do we need to work on. We need to take a next step. We need to do this. We need to do that. And it's a step-by-step process because, like anything else, if you've ever played sports, you're never the greatest player on the team from day one, unless you've been around for a while. If you're brand new to a team, you're usually and you're really good in your circles. Take for example, you go from high school to college. You're the best high school player in your sport in high school period. You go to college and you start to realize you're no longer the best player. You're just one of the players. So now you have to work your butt off again, do it all over again, and by the time you're ready to graduate college and move on, you're now the best player on the team. It took 4 years to get there. Same thing in business. It just takes time to get there. So my advice to you, don't give up on your dreams. The American dream is not dead. You just have to work harder at it. I think our political system is slowing things down because those guys can't get out of their own way, and it's too polarizing. So you have to disconnect a little bit from that world and focus on just you, where you're going, and then ask yourself, if you're not happy with where you're at, how do I get there? I'm going to be putting some videos in the next several months together to kind of help you get through that process. One of them is a growing pain. You have to go through it. Everybody does on certain levels, but everybody goes through a growing pain. It's just the nature of the beast. So happy holidays. Get ready to end this year on a great note. Be positive. Surround yourself with people that care about you and love you. And then we will keep in touch. But I'll put some more content out. Just want to give you a heads up what I'm doing with my channel. It's going to deal with business, real estate, personal stuff, mentoring, the whole 9 yards. I haven't done a very good job of that in the last many months because I'm trying to figure out how to shape this channel the right way. And I've taken a step back and just paused, reflected, and I thought to myself, a lot of people are hurting right now, especially in today's economy. It will bounce back. It's going to. The foundation of that is being built as we speak. It doesn't just snap back because you want it to, but it will. And when it does, you got to be prepared, and I'm going to help you get there. So take care. We'll see you soon. And yes, have a great weekend.